Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm also doing a PhD. I just started 2 months ago. So this is partly my proposal. It's a joint PhD program with the University of Burgundy and University of Free State and Sion. So the study is looking at soil carbon dynamics of a montane fire-climax grasslands in Cathedral Peak. So one of the key questions that are interesting around these grasslands are whether they are a carbon sink or a carbon source. So that is, they store more carbon than they release, or they release more than they store. So we want to investigate the effect of fire, vegetation heterogeneity, and climate change variability on soil carbon dynamics at a catchment scale in these grasslands. One of the key questions that we are asking is what are the spatial and temporal variation in soil respiration, that is the amount of carbon released, and what drives these at a catchment scale. Secondly, we're looking at degraded catchments, whether passive restoration result in carbon gain over time. Also, we asking what is the effect of fire and land cover types on isotope fractionation, carbon quality, and pyrogenic organic carbon, that is charcoal or ash. And lastly, does fire exclusion lead to greater carbon sequestration in those catchments where fire has been excluded? So around 1960s, the Department of Forest started an experiment in these catchments, looking at effect of fire and other land management on water delivery. So they changed this catchment 3, to a pine plantation. After changing it, they realized it's affecting stream flow and water delivery. So they changed it again. They cut off pine. After cutting pine, they realized that it's causing soil erosion, but this hasn't been addressed. And you can see it looks green, but it's dominated by bracken fen. The other catchment was fire exclusion. So they excluded fire, so it changed to a forest type or a woody dominated catchment. So we are focusing in 3 catchments, like Rowena have said. Catchment 3, which is degraded, dominated by bracken fen. Catchment 6, which is a natural or a primary grassland, which is banned biannually. And catchment 9, which is fire exclusion, dominated by Leucaedia. So I'm measuring soil respiration, that the amount of carbon released, using a LICO system, which is long-term and continuous. So it measures soil respiration over time, and using a manual method in different catchments. We also will take some soil samples at a different Katina gradient and at different soil depth to analyze for carbon stocks, isotopic signatures, and pyrogenic organic carbon. So one of our preliminary results from the monthly measurement of soil respiration is seen in this graph, where we see a relationship between soil temperature and the amount of carbon released. And you can see a linear, relationship. But what's interesting is that red or orange color is the woodlands, or where you have woody plants. They are more sensitive to changes in soil temperature than the pristine grassland. I thank you.